Representative King and members of the committee, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my story. Again, my name is Jacob Charles, and my family has Texan roots spanning multiple generations. I'm proud of my Texas heritage, and I'm also a husband, a father, a combat military veteran with over 22 years of honorable service to this country. Like most of my veteran brothers and sisters, it was our honor and duty to serve and protect this great nation of ours. I enlisted in the Marine Corps at the age of 18, just 2 days after high school graduation, just enough and old enough to purchase a lottery ticket, but at that time not old enough to sit in a bar or order a drink. My duties required me to answer our nation's call when we came under attack during 9/11. This incident had a traumatic and lasting effect on me, and unless you have experienced war, you cannot relate the horrors or yet hear the voices ignored to this committee. Upon my return from deployment, I, like many other Marines, reached for that bottle of alcohol to cope with our depression, anxiety, and the loss of our brothers and sisters who we lost in combat. In a civilian life, Marines are always taught you overcome, you adapt, you never show weakness. As you can imagine, alcohol was not the answer. It only increased my anger and depression and led me to losing my family for more than once or twice during my lifespan. During my treatment, I was diagnosed with PTSD, substance use disorder, depression, sleep apnea, just to name a few. Like most veterans, I was prescribed pharmaceutical drugs from the VA. Many were to deal with my primary issues, but several were prescribed to me for my combat-related side effects. Other drugs included night sweats and reliving those horrors of the combat experience. Those drugs turned me into a zombie. I was walking around the world with no one running, in a sense to say, the engine upstairs. Believing I would be living in this horror for a lifetime, I had become severely depressed once again and contemplated suicide. My wife discovered me one afternoon after returning home of afternoon practice with my son, and she found me in our bedroom holding my 9mm pistol to my head. She threw away the prescription drugs and said, "Enough is enough. You are a U.S. Marine, a father, a husband, and you need to live our lives."
Thank you, Mr. Charles. I've got a question for you, though.
Yes, sir.
So you are a veteran Marine Corps. Thank you for your
Combat
service.
veteran, yes, sir.
Thank you for your service, number one. Second, like so many others, we hear all the time, you know, veterans come home, they turn to alcohol, that doesn't work, so they go to the VA and they get pumped full of pills.
Correct.
All right. And so your testimony is that you use these hemp-based products for PTSD.
Very much for one of the other symptoms, yes, sir.
Okay. We are in a strange environment in Texas. You know, we've never technically legalized hemp for this purpose, and it became this purpose. And I understand, you know, understand the people being against opening it up for drinkables and not anything else. I totally get that. I said it earlier in response that, you know, this is an elephant that Texas got, and we are going to go down a regulatory road at some point, I believe, and we're trying to eat the elephant one bite at a time. If it was opened up to edibles, does that help, or does that not help because it's not full spectrum plant like one of the previous, like Mr. Jones testified to earlier?
Yes, again, Jacob Charles here. Representative King, I can only speak for myself. Like many of these experts that you brought on this panel have speak about the different effects that cannabinoid receptors have on one individual. I myself am at 25 milligrams of live rosin, which is one of those natural derived products that helps me deal with my anxiety, my depression, and helps me actually sleep at night. So again, I can only speak for myself, stating that legalizing these products and having them available, readily available for the different men and women that have served this country is what we're asking for.
I don't disagree with that at all. I'm wondering, though, we've heard a lot of testimony about how teacup doesn't work. It's not broad enough. It doesn't. If teacup was broadened to meet your needs, would you participate in the program?
No, sir, because actually I was a member of the Teacup program. Again, like most individuals, the expense costs, the amount of travel to get that prescription, to be put on a registry and not have that freedom. Now you're mandating a product to me that I don't have the choice or the opportunity to get. And at those levels that Teacup offers isn't what I need to sustain for my injuries.
I understand current levels. There will be another bill in another committee discussing teacup that seeks to broaden the levels and the accessibility. I don't know if that ever gets to the place that it would meet your needs. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, absolutely, yes, sir, and I'm happy to answer it. But I think, again, the way the program is designed currently, as you mentioned, the price is astronomical for us to be able to afford.
Understood. Thank you so much for answering my questions.